Have you ever wanted to build a wildly successful real estate business where all of your clients come directly to you just by being you? Well, if so, you're not going to want to skip a single second of this incredible interview. Today, I'm bringing on Justin Mercer, otherwise known as Call Tattoo, who has unapologetically one of the most authentic personal brands in the entire real estate industry. And he's going to be breaking down exactly how he not only leveraged his personal brand and how he created it, but then blended that with Instagram Reels and some of the most creative content you will find out there in order to triple his production in his second year and become one of the top producers in his market. So this is going to be one that breaks down the blueprint of the mentality you need with your personal brand, actionable steps you can take in order to create your unique personal brand, and the strategic creative content that he created that you can create as well that will get clients coming directly to you just by being yourself. Now, before getting into the interview, I want to mention two quick things. Number one, I'm going to link all of Justin's content below, especially his Instagram that you want to check out, as well as his two YouTube channels, one for his local market, as well as one that shows you how to create the incredible content that he is creating. And the second thing is, if you want to know how to partner with Justin and I for free, check out the link below for the calendar, and you can book a one-on-one call with us to talk about getting us to help you take your business to the next level. Now, without further ado, let's bring on Justin and talk to you in depth about exactly his blueprint for creating a recognized personal brand within your first year, and then getting all of your clients coming directly to you just by using this device right here. So let's dive in and change your business going forward. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and I'm incredibly excited for this one. A long time in the making, and one that I'm super proud to bring to you because we've got on Justin Mercer, otherwise known as Call Tattoo, today from Arizona. And we're going to be diving into two incredibly important topics that everybody's curious about, which is personal branding in an authentic way that connects, as well as video content, especially on Instagram Reels. So I'm excited to dive into some of the things that have really helped you stand out and build a wildly successful business because you've really done it in a way that is just incredibly genuine. So Justin, what's going on, brother?
What's up, Mike? Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. You know, obviously you've got a really unique approach to your business, and you took, a unique kind of angle to building your personal brand, which is just being yourself. And I think a lot of people kind of are trying to be a different version of some other agent, or they're trying to look a certain way that they think is the industry standard or the norm. And you kind of throw all that out of the window, and it's worked wonders for your business. So before kind of diving into the practical aspects of it, why don't you just give people a brief introduction of who you are, where you're from, what you've built, and then we can start getting into the branding and content side of things.
Okay. Well, Justin Mercer from Arizona. I'm not some kind of branding marketing expert like a lot of people think I am after they see my stuff, but like 2.5 years ago, I was literally probably at the worst point of my life. Like I was going through divorce, I lost my house, my kids, like everything. And I was in a job where I was working 60, 70 hours a week that ended up ruining that marriage. And like I was just kind of at that point of no return. I've always had this idea to do real estate, but I didn't think I could. Like a lot of people are afraid of who they are and their look, and that's what I was. I was afraid of who I was and look. I knew I could do it. Every job I've ever had, I've been top of the field, but it was just me. I wasn't over myself. So I decided to attack my look before anyone else could. So that's why I branded myself around the tattoos. But yeah, I was a truck driver for 2.5 years, and then kind of my first year in real estate, I was hoping just to do 5 deals. So I'm like, I'm going to create this brand. I'm going to do all these things. The average agent sells 2 to 3 homes in first year. Just let me sell 5, please. I ended up selling 23. Next year, more than doubled that, more than almost tripled my production in the second year. That's when I started adding more money into the marketing side to stand out. So like, honestly, like 2.5 years, I went from the worst part of my life to now I could see myself on Monday Night Football. I'm on the radio, got billboards around town. Like everywhere I go, people like come up to me. And I'm like, literally, they know like 2.5 years ago, I didn't want to be here anymore. So yeah, if you're at a point in your career where you're just struggling or you're afraid to start, like I did it from nothing, like literally nothing. So I know a lot of people say that and they think, oh, this person has a great real estate career because they were born into a family or because they have the team or because of this. And it's not true. It's just what you pour into yourself is what matters.
100%, man. And I think that's why you're so relatable, is that you're just unapologetically yourself and you're very genuine. And, you know, we've met multiple times in person now, and it's incredible to see that how you are on camera is exactly how you are in person. And it's something that people just love to be around. And I think it's really cool that, you know, one of the key things that I think really separates you is that when you're not trying to be something that you're not, it makes it easy to create content because you're just being yourself. So, you know, talking about personal branding for a sec before we get into Instagram and Reels and what you've done, which is incredible with video, you know, what's that journey look like in terms of your personal branding when, you know, maybe you've got some negative feedback and people are scared about what you're going to hear? And, you know, can you give any advice to people that are saying, you know what, I am who I am, no matter what that is, and I'm going to start branding myself for myself. But there's a lot of people with limiting beliefs and fears of how that's going to be received by the public. So what did that journey look like for you? And how did you kind of overcome that?
So there's three things I did when creating a brand. Everyone thinks this is all these steps, and keep in mind, I don't have a background. So what I was doing is what I thought would be right, like what I thought as a consumer would help. So I asked myself first, what do I do better than anyone? What can I do better than anyone? What do I have different from it? Because these are questions that you need to relate around your brand. Is everything like what me compared to Mike and the rest of the world? What do I do better than you? Not even knowing you. What do I know I do better than you? Because I can lean into those things. I know them. Then the most important part I thought was asking everybody else. I asked everyone I know, love, and trust, my friends, my family, my cousins, my uncle, like everyone, my coworkers. I said, here's my plan. I want to brand myself a tattooed realtor. What do you think? I'm going to be real estate, all this stuff. And you should have seen the negative feedback I got. And these are from people that know me, that love me, that trust me, and they're telling me these things, but I'm not taking it as a knock on not starting. I'm taking it as if this is the people that love me saying this, what are the people outside of them going to think? So I'm not looking at it as these are the reasons I shouldn't do it. These are the objections I have to overcome to everybody else. So when I was asking my friends and family, like, this is my brand, what do you think? Take their feedback very seriously and know that's the objections you're gonna have to overcome creating that brand to the public eye of people that don't know you. So that was a good step. And then the third one, it sounds so corny, bro, but I promise you, like, it'll work. I sat in a mirror and I interviewed myself, because if real estate doesn't work out, I'm going back to a 9-to-5 who's going to interview me, right? So I asked myself, like, okay, who are you? Like, what are you going to do for my company, which is my real estate career? Like, what are you going to do for my company? What have you done for other companies? Why did you stand out over them? So these are questions I'm asking myself, like, oh, here's what I did. I created this company that had billions of dollars net worth nationwide, and I delivered their product for 13, like I did everything as if I was in a job interview, because I knew I'm not going back. Like, I don't have another option. Real estate, I'm all in or I'm out. Like, I'm all in. I don't even want to be here anymore. So it's those three steps that helped me create a brand, though, because I knew my work ethic and I knew what I was going to overcome with the public eye. So like, that's
Definitely.
just step one. I think anyone can do that would help them. Because it's everyone comes to me or you for a brand. It's like, it's so hard to brand yourself, let alone somebody else, because it's all about authenticity. And I don't know you. So it's hard for me to tell you who you are authentically. So those are the best steps to do, just to start creating an idea around a brand, though.
Definitely. And I think one of the things that you've done incredibly well, because you kind of alluded to it briefly, which is like your billboards and things like that, is your brain is hyper consistent. Like, it's everywhere, right? It's on the car, it's on. So before we kind of go into this next kind of platform here, why don't you talk about the importance of that in terms of creating consistency across the board, so that, you know, once it does start to pick up momentum, then people are now seeing you everywhere.
Yeah. So a brand is a name. Like, it's, if I saw you in the street and I said, hey, Mike, like, that's a brand. You're a brand. You're a person, but you're a brand business wise. So like, I had to be that same person all the time wherever I'm at. But you can kind of see, like, what's the point of marketing and branding? It's almost like to get people to come to you, the top of mind, but it's also to start conversations. Like, it's a conversation starter, whether you're there or not. And that's the important thing. Like, a marketing, if you're talking about my marketing when I'm not around, like, I did a good job. If you're talking about me when I'm not around, that's marketing. So like, brands, the same thing. So I looked up color consistency. So I said, what are the most eye-popping colors to the general public? And the number one color was red. And it's just like, I think red gets played out too much, and everyone uses it. So it's like, the next one was like anything against black, like bright colors against black, and hot pink was one of those colors. And I was like, dude, boom, got my one. But as you can see, my colors are black, pink, the light blue, and the green highlight. So I started putting on everything, the words I put on Instagram, everything, like shirts, clothes, car, like everything I could put on, I did it. But now it's to the point where there's a hair dryer in Walmart, and it's a hair dryer on a bottom shelf of every single Walmart across the nation. I've got it emailed to me or DM to me and texted to me, literally, I'm not kidding you, like 500, 600 times, because people saw the colors and their first thought is Justin. So like I said, it's your name, your brand is a person. So the more consistent you are with it, that people just think about you all the time because you're constantly in their face with it. And that's why I think just colors, like it sounds stupid, but colors alone is a conversation starter for someone to reach out to you or talk about you when you're not around.
100%, man. And it's exactly what I did, right? Like with purple, you know, I had people from Argentina, from India, from Turkey, like sending me pictures of purple cars, purple anything, because they're like, hey, I saw this, makes me think of you. And when I had
a friend text me Saturday, a picture of it was a purple Urus. He said, oh, I think your boy's in town. He doesn't know you. He's never met you. You've been on my story 3 or 4 times and on my page, but you stood out to him already. He went to your page because of this. He saw a purple Lambo, went to your page because everyone knows legitimacy when you see a purple Lamborghini.
Yeah.
But it's little things like that. And it doesn't have to be a Lamborghini, but it's little things you put in your business that people know you from.
100%. Yeah, it's been really cool. And it's that subtle cue that it's just a very effective differentiating factor that doesn't cost anything, but it can make a big impact. So now let's talk about what everybody's excited about, which is the incredible content that you've been able to put out. So we're going to do something different here, guys, where I'm actually going to overlay a few videos, a couple clips from Justin's Instagram to show you what we're talking about here. But it's incredible to see what this has done for you. So before kind of diving into, you know, how you approached video content, let's just start with the beginning of why Instagram over every other platform.
Well, it was like Facebook and Instagram together because that was just what I used. I only had Facebook and Instagram when I first started social media, but I would post funny memes all the time. And I had a group of people that would expect me to make funny memes because they wanted to laugh. So when it came to real estate, when I was asking people, what do you view me as? Like, you're funny was always the thing. So here's real estate. And I hate to tell you guys this, if you're in real estate, it's fucking boring if you're not in real estate. No one cares. Not one person cares about real estate when you're not here. And I knew that because I thought like a consumer when I first started. There's a moment I talked about my class when I had my back against the wall. I had no business, nothing in the pipeline. I don't have a job for a safety net anymore. I have zero business and COVID just hit. And I took 6 steps into my business and it put me in a back against the wall moment. But one of them made me think like a consumer. And that's one of my things. And I had bought in 2 homes and sold 2 homes before I was in the business. And I didn't look up agents. I didn't look up market stats. I didn't look up any of this stuff because I knew so many people on Facebook that were agents and I didn't use them. I used the hot girl in the gym. So I tell everyone this, I just, every single day I figured out how do I become the hot girl in the gym? Like, how do I stand out against other people? And it was the funny side. It was the videos, because as soon as I started making funny videos, people were going left and right. These are real estate related videos in the sense that I am an agent, or I'm an agent. I say nothing about a market. I give you no kind of value proposition or no kind of sales pitch in any of my videos. It's strictly just to go for a share button. Because like I said, I used the girl in the gym, and when I looked up her numbers, she sold 3 houses that year. I didn't ask her what school she went to. I didn't ask her where her broker is. I didn't ask her production. I just assumed she's licensed. She knew what she was doing. So in my mind, the general public does that with me. So I don't need to sit there and give my value prop, bore them to death, because that's how turned me off from the people I knew. All I want to go is get that laugh. And when I started making these videos, one of the first videos that was kind of like my go-to was this one where I was in this pink mesh shirt with an S&M mask. Everyone in my office told me, don't post it. It's too unprofessional, gray area, do not post it. That one video got me 5 deals. It had nothing to do with real estate other than you knew I was an agent, but everything else was comic factor, and it got 25,000 views on Facebook. It was shared 400 times, and that's what mattered is those shares button got me in front of every single person that wasn't already following me, didn't know, love, and trust me. They just saw my personality, who I was, and their first call to me. That's when I give you my value prop. When you're on the phone with me, and I want your business now, not just your eyes.
Yeah, that it's amazing, man, because you know, your videos truly are, and guys, make sure you check out all of his content on Instagram, which again is linked below. But you know, it is incredibly entertaining, and I think it's the best way to stay top of mind, because you know, people are now working with the people that they think they're going to enjoy the experience with, because, you know, experience is kind of a double-edged word, because in the past, people were looking for the agent that looked the most experienced. They looked like a traditional realtor. They looked like they either had 20 years of experience, but now experience is more catered towards, are you going to enjoy the process with this person? And that's what people are looking for. And you've done an incredible, you know, job at highlighting that. So you kind of touched on one of the videos, but now let's talk about some of the videos that you've done that have kind of really connected with people and have kind of yielded some tangible results in terms of clients, deals, and outreach.
The biggest one was probably my first I went all in video, which was a production, which is somebody else filming with their iPhone. and me, I didn't even edit it. It was just on a still camera, but it was because I made 2 previous that were just like remixing songs to do with real estate, shaky camera, but people were reacting to it. So I was like, okay, let me dive in and see if this is actually a thing. So keep in mind, I had zero business, nothing in the pipeline. I dressed up in a full suit and tie, and I had a glass of wine. I sat in a hot tub at a $3 million mansion. So inside a hot tub in a suit with a glass of wine, and I pretended it was a Tinder video. So I started the video off saying, ladies, do you love men with rich men with beautiful houses? Swipe right. And the camera lady was like, no, Justin, it's not for your Tinder. This is for your open house. So like, oh shit. So I introduced the open house, but that open house was packed. Through that weekend of me videoing the open house and that video alone, I had hundreds, I'm not even exaggerating, hundreds of DMs and messages because people thought that was my listing. And when I say things like a consumer, everyone in the industry knew that wasn't my listing. It was a $3 million mansion and it wasn't mine. I'm brand new, right? But the public doesn't know that. The general public, my friends, my family, no one knew that. And they kept hitting me up like, dude, I didn't know you're that serious. I didn't know you're getting listings. And I wasn't sitting there saying it's not my listing. I said, bring me a buyer. I can represent a buyer. So like with perception along with the videos, it blew me up. The next week I was at a $700,000 house. Next week I was a $900,000 house. And people were just blowing me up like, dude, I didn't think you were serious. I didn't think this, I didn't think that. But it just shows you how powerful video and the perception is. So even like I teach perception more than anyone because it's what reality is. But just video alone marketing on Facebook blew me up to having zero in the pipeline, scared to death. I have a look that no one's ever had in real estate. The very next month, I closed $2 million in transactions, having zero in my pipeline strictly from one social media video, which led to many other social media videos. But like I told people, not one video I do is a real estate related. It's not real estate related, but it is because you know I'm an agent, period. That's it. That's the only thing I go for. And how do I get this person to share the freaking video? That's all I think about every video I do.
I love it, man. And I think it's a great talking point there, which is like, a lot of people are so concerned about their level of experience that they use that as a crutch or a holdback or an objection as to why they can't do certain types of content. Whereas what you did, and I did this similarly in the beginning, is, you know, I just looked and said, hey, you know, I'm not looking at this from an agent's perspective, looking from a consumer's perspective. They don't know who's listing, who's buy, like they don't know any of that. If you help the buyer, they don't know when you just put sold, if you bought it or sold it. And I think a lot of people are looking at these objections and it's getting in their own way. So I love that you kind of touched on that. And I think, you know, one thing people are curious about is, what is your creation process? Which is like, going from idea to recording to then posting, because a lot of people are going to watch this and are creative people by nature, but they find their creativity stumped or stunted because they're trying to just do the same shit everybody else is doing. So what's that process look like for you in terms of how do you come up with ideas, and then what does it go like for execution?
So I'm very prideful. If you gave me a fire video idea right now, I'm not going to use it because I'm that prideful where I want everything to be my idea, but it's a wrong way of thinking. So like if you're struggling with content, let's go that route first. If you're the one struggling with the content, the very first thing I say is like, I have no idea how you're struggling with content because it's there. Like people don't understand every single piece of content you'll ever need in your life is on Google, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. You don't need me to help you create content. You go to YouTube and look up real estate agents, go to the top viewed videos and do that exact same video in your state. Go to YouTube or go to TikTok where someone got 3 million views. Maybe, are you gonna get 3 million? Probably not, but 3 million people watching that video throughout. That's what grew it. So if you want your people, keep their eye on the video, do that same video in your way. So first route, if you're struggling with content, there's no reason to struggle because everything's there already. You just got to go mimic it. Make it your own. Don't do word for word. Like if you're going to rip somebody off, don't rip off and duplicate, rip off and make it better, or make it your own.
Yeah.
But as far as my content, I think of trends. I think of what's popular, I think what's going to get people to laugh. You have to bring emotion out of the viewer if you want them to stay in the video. So if I'm thinking a video idea, the first 15 seconds of the video, I'm like, why are people still watching this video? What do I need to do to make people still watch this video? Because I get bored so quickly. So if I'm getting bored quickly, everyone else is going to get bored quickly. So throughout my process, I think constantly, how am I getting people on this video? What are they going to stay for? What's the thumbnail going to look like in my Instagram that make them like, what is this? If they just come to my page. So first step, but as far as idea process goes, I take anything I can, like literally, like the talking head video I did, the very first one I did with the girl splashing water. That's this talking head video that if I was in front of this background with lighting and was saying the same things, 200 people are going to view it and they're going to click off of it. I created something that brought them in, like, what the hell just happened? And now they're staying through the video because they think I'm going to do something else. Like I'll throw something else in there. But that was the very first video I did by seeing somebody else do a talking head video and knowing I didn't stay on that video. Why not? Like, I still want to prove I'm valuable. I still want to provide education to people because it makes you look more legit. But like, why are they going to sit there and watch me? And that's why I started doing with that. But I have a notepad next to my bed. And when do you do the most thinking? Like, I do my most thinking when I'm going to bed, and I have a notepad next to my bed. I will literally think of video ideas for days and days. I have 20 video ideas that I still want to do. So to answer your question about putting the action, I'm the worst at it, but at least the activity's there. Like, this is the activity that's hard. It's just getting myself with everything going on to do the activity in real life. So there are people that are struggling to do it, and you have to create what do you call it? You have to create a standard around your business, which is the same standards you have in your life. Like, there's not one time I've ever left my house and I didn't brush my teeth. I'm not letting anyone smell my breath in the morning. Like, I'm not ever going to have stank breath. There's not one time when I've been late to pick up my kids. So I need to put those same standards in my business with video. And that's what I suggest people to do. Like, have a standard around your business that you have around your life. And if you create that standard, you don't dismiss it. So a lot of people miss the fact that they think they're 1099 and they're not an employee. You're an employee. You're just an employee of yourself. Hold yourself accountable to yourself, and create these videos. And everyone's afraid of, I'm afraid of the way they look and this. Everyone is. I'm afraid of the way it looks. I'm afraid of the way it looked in this video. I asked you how it looked like. Like, I'm afraid, and I'm on video. So like, I'm an introvert in real life. Like, I don't know, you didn't tell people that, but in real life, I'm a huge introvert, but I can't do that on social media. I won't have a business. So I had to get over it just for the business. Like, if you're hungry, you're going to figure out a way to do it.
Yeah, I think that's really important because, I love that you talked about the standard, because we always talk about in our group, like, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And I do the same. It's like the little things, right? It's like, I wake up, I go to the gym, have a shower, skincare routine. Like, I do not go to bed unless my office is cleaned and all the dishes are away. It's like all of these little things, because what people don't realize is that it teaches you discipline. Like, the number one thing I see agents struggle with is discipline with all aspects of their business. They say they're going to do something, they don't do it. They put it in their calendar, they don't do it. And it's like, if you can do these little wins throughout the day and stay consistent with it, that has a domino effect on other aspects of your life. But you're on a winning streak. Many people in our group are on winning streaks because they do what they say they're going to do. And so many people are so used to breaking promises with themselves by saying they're going to do something and not, that it's now become the norm, to the point where they just let themselves down freely with no repercussions. But like, people like you and I with this standard, if we don't do something we say we're going to do, like, that eats us alive, right? And I think that's why we actually do it. So, I've got a couple questions for the newer people that are ready to get rocking here. But one thing that is always a talking point is equipment. A lot of people have this kind of like mental barrier where, if I don't have a professional crew, if I don't have the lighting, if I don't have a $4,000 DSLR, that I can't do these videos. Your videos are incredible quality, and I don't think you use all of that. So why don't you tell people what your setup looks like for audio, lighting, video, things like that?
That's all I use now.
Yeah.
And when I say now, it's just over the last month or two, I hired a videographer. And it wasn't for my content creation videos. It was more for, I need someone to edit my videos. I want the correct lighting. I want to do YouTube. So even my videographer now, it is for now, but it's more for the future of the business, because I know the power of social media. I know the power because in my first 2 years, when I didn't think I was going to do shit in this field, I closed almost $40 million in transactions in my first 2 years of business, when I thought I was going to hope to God people would trust me enough to sell 5 houses.
Yeah.
And I did all that. More than half of that came from social media. And I can't even truly put a number on it because I don't know how many of those were referrals from somebody that follows me. So all that was social media driven by this, period. Like, I have lighting, I have an editor, I had a way of getting attention and putting it in front of everyone, period. That's it. Like, you have to figure out a way to get the attention and now put it in front of as many people as you can. And a phone does it. I'm taking it more seriously now because I see what you've created. And now I have a lighting, that's not even a good lighting system set up yet, but I'm working on that stuff now, and I already had the business. So if you think that you need the business to have it, you don't. And I wanted to touch on one thing because I don't want to let it go. When you're asking about content creation, one of the most recent videos I put on Instagram was that Purge video, the Purge walkthrough, where I did it like the Purge style and had the announcement like the Purge. I was driving to work and had the radio on. I don't ever listen to the radio. I had the radio on. I was dropping my kids off, and a car like tent sale thing came on. But the way they alerted the public was that horn. And I was like, oh shit. And it brought me to the Purge. And I remember saying, oh shit, I love that. I haven't seen that movie forever. And I like that siren because it got my attention. This is on the radio low. It got my attention. And literally from that getting my attention in the car when I wasn't paying attention, I was like, oh shit, I should put that in a video. So all I started thinking was Purge. What was the Purge? What was it about? What did it have in it? And then I was like, how do I relate the Purge to real estate? And then I started thinking of different ways. The walkthrough wasn't the first one, but I was like, you know what? I should just do a walkthrough like the Purge. And then I need good music and stuff. But all that came from that content creation was me driving to work and hearing something that caught my attention. And I was like, how do I bring that into a real estate related video? And I think anyone can do that right now. Like, what gets your attention or what just snapped your head, and then try to figure out how to put that in a video. Sorry, I just want to touch on that before.
No, man, I love it. Like, I think it's what people need to understand is like they overcomplicate content. Like, everybody's looking for like the perfect video that's going to connect or the perfect script. It's like, what grabs your attention? Because if it grabs yours, it'll grab others. And I think it's, doing what you are, which is a practitioner of the platform, is you're thinking unbiasedly from your own perspective, and you're critiquing yourself, knowing that other people are going to be doing the exact same thing. And when you can put yourself in other people's shoes, and I think that the biggest key takeaway is putting yourself in the shoes of people that are not in this industry. Not what every other agent's going to do, because if you do what every other agent's doing, you're going to be one of the same of every other agent. And, people are always asking me, I'm sure they ask this to you, which is like, why are clients not coming directly to me? And my response is, you haven't given them a reason to come directly to you because you look like everybody else, right? And you've taken a completely different approach to that.
Yeah. Like you said, it's the overcomplication. They think but it's just like, you have to stand out. Like, you don't understand, like when people are buying or selling a home, their first thought process isn't who's an agent, who's going to sell my house, how they get me the most money. That's not their first thought. That's how it's perceived in an agent's mindset, that the public's just like, oh, I can get them the most money, then you come to me, right? No, their first thought is they're moving. Their first thought is their kids are going to another school. They're starting a new job. They're making more money. They're making less money. Their payments more. Their payments, like, whatever it is. I'm married. I got to move this kid. Like, how am I going to do all this shit? Their first thought's not an agent. So when the agent comes to mind, they have to be struggling with what they're dealing with in life. And then they just happen to get it their way, and they pull out their fucking cell phone and they throw up Instagram. And now I just stood out to them because I'm doing something different. I just made this dude who's stressed out laugh, and he knows I'm an agent. He follows me, right? He knows I'm an agent. He's like, oh shit, why didn't I think of Justin? Even me doing it well, he's going to say, oh shit, I didn't know, I forgot Justin did it. So like, you have to figure out a way to stand out in front of these people who you're not their top of mind. You're never their top of mind until they see you. So like, I have to be consistent being seen to be top of mind. I have to have this guy who wants to sell his house drive by a pink and black car and be like, oh shit, I see this stuff all the time. It's Justin. I'm selling my house. Like, whatever it is, like, that's a stretch, but it has to be something, because these people, they have so many things on their mind. An average consumer, their first thought is not you.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's perfect, man. And I think that's a great segue into like one of the last things that I really want to dive into here, which is, people are going to watch this and they're going to get inspired. They're going to say, you know what, I've had all these limiting beliefs. I could do this too. I see myself in Justin. I'm ready to take action. But there's going to be the people that are saying, well, how often do I need to post? Or, what about the hashtags and things like that? Do you have sort of like some recommendations, some best practices for people that are just getting started, saying, hey, Next week, I'm going to start putting up reels. I'm going to start leveraging short form video content. I'm going to be myself. But they're not quite sure how to get going with it.
I tell agents that make excuses, like, 'cause at the end of the day, it's an excuse. I'm not knocking anyone because I make excuses all the time. But what's your other option? If you're not willing to take this next step, like if you are to a point where you're struggling and you're coming to me for a way to change your business or to start the business, you're in some sort of way not where you want to be. So what's your other option? If you don't take a new step, if you don't take a different approach, if you don't do something that is working for somebody else and it's not working for you, if you don't have the ability to change it, what's your next option? You're going to make excuses until when? Until you have one closing a month, until you have 0 closings a month and you're out of the business and now you're working for somebody else and you have to do what they tell you to do. So when I tell people to interview yourself, it's because you have to hold yourself accountable until you, like, I'm not a 1099 employee. I'm not. I am an employee of Call Tattoo Real Estate Group, which I'm also the CEO of. So it's like, I treat myself like I'm a CEO, not like I'm a 1099. Like, this is a business. And I constantly think, how do I need to grow my business? You have to become uncomfortable to grow your business. And if you're struggling, like we talked about the holding each other accountable, like you have to find a way to hold yourself accountable to take those next steps, because what's your other option? And a lot of people have the excuses, but they don't just have that next conscious step of, oh shit, if I don't do this, what's there? Like, I have agents that don't want to do this because, oh, I got to pick my kids up at 2. I can't do this. Okay, well, if you're not willing to do it, and the time comes where you're no longer able to pick up your kid at 2 because you have to get 8 to 5, you're gonna have to find a babysitter. You're gonna have to, like, so it's like there's things that you're not thinking outside of it. So you truly have to, at the end of the day, we could talk about content, Facebook, all this. You have to take the next steps to make your business, hold yourself accountable to your own business. And that's why I tell people, like, it might have to start with one video, but you need to do it. You need to do it at a high level, like from jump. Or what's your other option?
Yeah. And do you find that too, is like, looking back at your first videos, you know, you were petrified to put it out, and now you look back and you know, you realize how much you've grown. Like, I think that's a common experience for a lot of people. Like, you know, they're petrified to get that first video out. They think they're going to look like trash, and they usually do. But the only way to ever get to the point where you're comfortable is that repetition. So did you kind of feel something similar when you got started to where you're at now?
Yeah, every speaking engagement I go to, they label me as a marketing genius and a branding guru. I'm like, dude, like 2.5 years ago, I was driving a freaking semi miserable. Like, I'm not a I didn't go to Penn State Business College, but I found out what was working. And I found out what was working for me, what was working for other people, how do I tweak it to make it work for me? Like, the best ideas I've ever had that people call me a marketing genius was something someone was doing at such a small level. And so, like, to me, not taking the full steps, that I did it and took the full steps. And now that I'm a marketing genius for it. Like, I tell this story all the time, the donut boxes, like, people were bringing donut boxes to hospitals, police stations, fire stations. They were bringing in a Dunkin' Donut box or a Krispy Kreme box, and they take their business card to it. And I started, like, that's a great idea. I do want to get in the public eye. How do I do that 10 times freaking better? Right. So I put myself in the consumer. I said, if I'm working in a hospital and I'm a nurse or whatever, and I see donuts in the break room, I'm going to do what I do in my brokerage when I see cookies I open the box, I take the cookie. I don't know what home warranty company brought it. I don't care. It's a cookie, right? You got to do the same thing in your business. So, like, if I'm dropping off donut boxes and Krispy Kreme donut, that's a Krispy Kreme donut to everyone else. That's not. But so I was like, how do I take that idea? And it was take the next step and doing something nobody else was doing. I made the box my business card. It was a huge glossy black box with huge Let's Ink a Deal on the front, my Instagram on the side. The top had my logo, my cartoon character. Like, there's no way you can look at these donuts and not know it's from me. Like, the box, it was a donut box. So you knew they're donuts. But when you open it, you're captivated by all my colors, by my brand and everything. Like, you know who brought those fucking donuts now. Yeah. And from having my Instagram on it, I was on 20 different stories that same day. The first hospital I brought it to, I was on 20 stories that day. I don't care if somebody had 300 followers. They got 100 story views on that video. That's 100 people that didn't see me before. And that wasn't my idea. I wasn't the marketing genius behind bring donuts to a hospital. But I saw somebody else doing it at such a small scale that I dove deep into it and said, how do I make this 10 times better? And anyone can do that in their business. Like, someone around you, someone on the internet, someone in your office, your neighbor, somebody has the business you want. What are they doing to get that business? And how do you do the same thing but better? And that's something you got to ask yourself. I ask myself that every single day. I look at your videos, and I just started YouTube. Obviously, I'm not going to have any views, but I look at your videos and I'm like, why the fuck did he get 6? So I'm not sitting there just like, oh, I'm going to do the same thing Mike did. I'm like, how do I make what Mike did better? And I told you that when I met you, when I moved to EXP, I said, I want to be better than you. And and the reason you inspired me is because you said, I'm going to make you better than me. And that's how you got to like come to business. Like, so if you're in the agent that's struggling, you see me or Mike or something like, and you say, oh, I want to make funny videos. You cool, come to me. Let's figure out how to make you do that. Because if you're with me, now I can dive deep in you because I want to be the person who got you there.
Yeah.
So
I love that, man. It's such a key thing is everybody's looking to just like, you know, especially in real estate, that the ego is massive and people just want the recognition. They want the credibility. They want it to be their idea and everything like that. And I think this is all about proving things that in our own way and then helping other people do it even better and showing that, you know, this works and we can help them avoid the learning curve. And that's kind of a great way to kind of bring this full circle, man, is like, you know, let's talk about that, which is, you know, why you decided to partner with EXP and what does it look like to partner now with the both of us, because you've got stories for days. You've got so much incredible kind of educational material on not just social media, but how to actually build a thriving, successful business, because you've built a legit team, not just like a, you know, modern team with a cloud-based brokerage, but you've built like a legit team with a legit office in your local market the hard way. So what made you come over this way, and what does it look like for people that are now going to have the incredible opportunity to partner with you?
Because I saw the power of social media, and like I wanted to do a YouTube video on this, and I asked you if it would be appropriate or not. Like I've hated EXP for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I've hated EXP for 2 years because the wrong people were telling me about EXP. The wrong people were too busy pitching what value they get for themselves other than what they can provide to everyone else. So it's really freaking easy for me to talk to an agent who's struggling and saying, you're doing the business the right way with your cold calling or door knocking, but you're taking that stroke. You have 5 deals a year and you're working at high level. I know what I'm good at can get you to 10 deals a year because you're not doing it right now. So EXP was just one of those things where with what you and Connor provide me and what I provide them, there's not one agent, and I'm very confident saying this, if you're struggling to close 10 deals a year and you're at 8 or 9, I'll get you to 12, 15, like whatever it is, because I know how to do what you're not doing at a high level. And is it going to work from jump your first month? No, but the consistency and showing them, here's like what I built from nothing. Like I'm telling you, I was a truck driver 2.5 years ago. I did this from social media. I did this from social media video. I did this from marketing online. This wasn't me picking up a phone 8 hours a day now instead of 6. Like I didn't build my business because I built it off of social media. So now when you came to me about EXP, you didn't pitch me on EXP. You pitched me on me. You said, I've been following you for this and I watched this. Like, why aren't you doing this? And I was like, holy shit, like every agent is struggling with content and video. Like now I can still run my same real estate business, but now with EXP, it allows me to pour into other agents as well. And the best part is I can team up with somebody in Ohio and I can show them everything to do at a high level to add on to their already business. And I don't sit there and say, oh, you just got an $8,000 check from that? Cool. Let me get 4,000. Let me get 4,000 because it's 50-50 split. It allows me to pour into people because they're in the same network as me. And now I can help agents around the country and I don't have to worry about taking their money because I love agents. The real estate career changed my life. Like I want to change other people's lives. And EXP is a way to do that where you pour into me. And I met you one day. We had a 20-minute conversation and you poured into me from that first day. And if I call you, like that's what's important to me is every time I called you, you picked up. Every time I texted you, you answered. Like it wasn't this false pitch that some people have or some brokerages have that just want you in. And then when you're in, you're just stuck, whatever, figure out for yourself. Like if you come here and leave, I didn't do something right. And it doesn't help us, it hurts us. Yeah. So like, I know full on, everyone I bring into our system is going to stay because the value's there. And at the end of the day, the reason I joined is because of the value and the way it was positioned to me. And I know how powerful YouTube, Instagram, TikTok not is now, it's gonna be, because it already is powerful now. But you see all these agents I was afraid of to come in the business. Like I wasn't that RE/MAX agent who was 55 years old and in the business for 40 years. And I thought I couldn't do it because I'm not them. Their mom was an agent. They've been doing it for 30 years, but like I'm closing more deals than all these agents because people go to video now. People want to be entertained. They want to like somebody. They want that top of mind just alone. Like there's so many housings I close where I'm friends with them on Facebook now. And when they post a picture of we just bought a new house, I see 3 or 4 comments in there like, oh, why don't you use me? And then like these people are friends and they came to me who they don't know for a reason because of how powerful video marketing is. So with your system, Connor's, mine, like we can take these from agents that are struggling and show them how powerful the video marketing can be.
100%. And man, I love the fact that you and I come from a similar background in the sense of like, you know, we don't have this experience of marketing. We don't have branding degrees or marketing degrees or business. Like, you know, we did this as practitioners from just executing and figuring out what works and then doing that repetitively, consistently over time. So I'm just super excited, man, that we can now bring this opportunity to partner with people where for free, people get, you know, one-on-one access to both of us and allow us to give you the proven blueprint, not take, you know, we could take the guesswork out of it, you know, especially with Justin's incredible work on branding and Instagram and my work on video with YouTube. We could really help people take their business to the next level. So again, guys, you want to make sure that you check out both of Justin's YouTube channels as well as his Instagram. And if you want to book a call to talk about partnering with us, then we will help you take your business to the next level going forward. So Justin, man, thanks so much for popping on today. Really grateful for all the information that you've shared. And I know this is going to make a huge impact on a lot of people.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, like feel free, like message me on Instagram, whatever it is, like I answer everything. Like I'm never going to leave someone hanging. So just like you answered my call, like I'm there for everybody else. So
I love it, man. We're here to serve the industry. We're here to make an impact, and I can't wait to partner with many people that end up watching this and really see what we can do to change their lives. So, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. As always, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.